Back to our top story. First things first, this morning, the Brooklyn Nets announcing yesterday that Kyrie Irving will not be allowed to practice or play until he's vaccinated, until he's eligible under New York City's COVID-19 vaccine mandate. It's a pretty shocking twist to the NBA season, now just 6 days shy of opening tip. Fox Bet Sportsbook, though, still has Brooklyn, check this out, as title favorites. There it is, despite Kyrie's cloudy future. Favorites slightly, just slightly, over the Lakers, Bucks, and Warriors at this point. Chris Broussard, let me start with you. Should the Nets still be the favorites, even without Kyrie?
Absolutely. I believe the Nets are going to be outstanding, Jenna. Even without Kyrie, as great as he is, they still have two legitimate MVP candidates in the middle of their prime. Or not the middle for Durant, but still in his prime, very much so. No other team really has that. The Lakers obviously have two former MVPs, but LeBron possibly a candidate. Obviously, he's older. Westbrook's not an MVP candidate anymore. So, and I guess Anthony Davis just hasn't won it before. So, I like the Nets. I think outside of their two stars, they've got, Blake Griffin as a stretch five. Joe Harris is a great shooter. And Blake Griffin, yes, stretch five. He shot 38% from three last year, so he's actually become a really nice three-point shooter. Obviously, Joe Harris does it as well. So the middle of the paint, the lane is open for Harden to do his thing and get in the paint. And I mentioned Joe Harris. Yeah, Joe Harris shooting. And then Bruce Brown. I like Bruce Brown in the starting lineup. Bruce Brown can finish around the rim. He's a hustler, because they got hustle guys now. Brown defends. Javon Carter, who they picked up as a point guard, he's a nice, feisty little defender. They got guys off the bench. Patty Mills is a winner. Paul Millsap, a winner. Yeah. Veterans. They got Nick Claxton coming off the bench as well. I think the Nets have it all. Now, they're not as overwhelming a favorite as they were with Kyrie. I think it should be Nets, Bucks, Lakers is the order of the top three. But, yeah, I think the Nets still very much are the best team in the NBA.
So I've got a little twist on your take, Broussard. I think Kyrie eventually plays. I think this line and the fact that they are the favorites proves that Kyrie's vaccination hesitancy is going to evolve, just like his flat earth theory evolved. Eventually he's going to look up and say, you know what? I was wrong about this. The Tesla 369 thing is the numbers that rule the universe. That one still stands. But I expect this one, Nick, to sort of move and have him be like, you know what? Between the vaccine hesitancy and the $30 million, let me look at some other research, just like the Bills players did, just like Andrew Wiggins did. I think this evolves, and the line reflects that Vegas and the public at large think that Kyrie will eventually come back.
Yeah, I think you're right that the line reflects that they believe that either Kyrie's coming back or they're going to trade him and get something for him. I do think the line reflects that, but I think the line is flawed. And Broussard, a couple things. First of all, I knew you mentioned Joe Harris. I said Joe Harris incredulously because it is remarkable to me you would list him as an asset for a team to win playoff series when we have seen that Joe Harris, when the lights get bright, no, don't give me the ball. We've seen it. We've seen it before. And so, the idea, don't forget they have Joe Harris. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, I've seen the Joe Harris story before. He is a poor man's Kyle Korver, which is unbelievable in the regular season. As the games get bigger, it's okay, you can't rely on him. But this isn't about Joe Harris. The idea, how can they be the favorites over the Nets? How? I know we have retconned that series.
Over the Bucks.
I'm over the Bucks, pardon me. Over the Bucks. Thank you, Broussard. Right. I know I'm so frustrated I'm getting teams switched around in my head. I know we have retconned that series, but I want to tell a fact to the audience about Nets-Bucks. Kevin Durant played all 7 games. The Nets had home court advantage. Kevin Durant had 2 of the finest games of his career. And on the court with Kevin Durant for all 7 games was either Kyrie Irving or James Harden. That is a fact. We can pretend it's not, but it's true. Oh, but Nick, James Harden in that Game 7 at home in Brooklyn when Durant was fantastic, James Harden wasn't himself in that game. You're right. I mean, he's 4 for 15 from the field, just 17 and 9. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That was the last Game 7 James Harden played in against Oklahoma City. In this game, James Harden was 2 for 11 from the field, 10 and 7. No, I'm sorry. That was a Game 6 when they got eliminated against the Spurs. In this Game 7, James Harden was 5 for 17, 22 and 9. That was his actual line. Guys, you know what we call those games? James Harden elimination playoff games. Healthy or not great in them. Kind of the history. Kind of the reason why that he's averaged 35 a game, averaged 36 a game, won an assist title, won scoring titles, won a sixth man, can do everything. So why is he never discussed as the best player in basketball? Because he's not as good in the playoffs. He's just not. Now, are we going to ask Kevin Durant, hey, KD, all we need is for you to play 48 minutes and score 48 points? Because we got that last year, and we couldn't win, but it was close. So you're asking KD Broussard to be the greatest version of himself he's ever been, James Harden to be something he's never been, which is consistent and reliable in high-leverage spots, and to beat the defending champs. How can you buy that? How can you believe that when we saw what happened? Tell me, please. Help me understand. You're the wise elder statesman.
Nick. Amazing. First of all, you used to love James Harden. I can't believe the way you've just been dumping on him lately. But here's the deal.
No,
You forgot to mention one critical thing last year. James Harden had a bad hamstring. All right? James Harden couldn't be himself because his hamstring was bothering him. I'll admit, I was disappointed in the way he fell apart late in that game. All right, I'll admit a little of that might have been, it wasn't all hamstring. Some of it might have been the big stage. I'll give you that. But I'm going to say a lot of it, most of it was the hamstring. And Nick, they almost beat the Bucks. And remember, they didn't have any time together. I don't know offhand, but Harden and KD had hardly played together. You mentioned it. It was either Harden or Kyrie playing with Durant in that series, but not both. That's what I'm talking. That's why the Nets sent Kyrie on now, because we need chemistry. We can't win it with you popping in and out of the lineup, and that's what was happening during that series for both Harden and Kyrie. All right, so presumably Harden will be healthy this year, so he's there for every game, and they've developed chemistry in the regular season, something they did not have last year. And so that is why they're number. Look, it takes usually a superstar group coming together. It usually takes a year. It took LeBron a year in Cleveland with Kyrie and Kevin Love. It took LeBron a year in Miami with Wade and Bosh. It's taking Brooklyn a year. But everybody can look on paper and say, oh, if healthy, these boys can ball, and they're the best team in the league.
Okay. All right, I guess, listen, I'm a simple, stupid man, and I believe this. They just found out a guy they were relying on for 36 minutes, 25 points, 7 assists a game on super high efficiency is no longer on the team. He has been replaced by this cup of coffee. I no longer think they're the favorites. I know it's crazy, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say if today Drew Holiday retired, it would hurt the Bucks' chances. And this idea of, well, their top two is just so much better than everyone else's top two. No, they're not. KD and Giannis are eye level. I think Giannis is a tick ahead. Other people think Durant's a tick ahead. But either way, that's a wash. And come the postseason, Chris Middleton or James Harden? Nah, make a case.
James Harden.
Make a case. Oh, what about
Middleton's a roller coaster too. You know that Middleton is a roller coaster in the playoffs. Nobody pays attention to it because he's not a superstar. That's the difference.
Yeah, he had a game winner.
James Harden is light years ahead of Chris Middleton.
Had some good finals moments, which is something James Harden's never had because he's not there. In the regular season, But at least, at least the Nets have the coaching advantage, Jenna. Oh, wait, Steve Nash. Steve Nash's adjustment. Katie, just play the whole game, please. My adjustment is...
How many times have you demolished Budenholzer on this show?
Oh, he's a champ now. But he's a champ now. He's a champ.
He's different
He's
now.
draped in championship pedigree, Jenna.
Have to wrap this up,
We
and
could
I'm
go
glad we
on
got to
and
the
on.
bottom of it. And I just ordered a jersey for